Hi, everyone. We are Christian Keiki Co-op in Hawaii, and we are here to share with you our gems that we've learned along the way. My name is Yvonne Juarez.
I'm Charlene.
I'm Lucille.
I'm Wei.
And we've been together for about 5 years, and we have had a weekly co-op where we get together with our 10 kids, and we have had an awesome time. It's been an amazing journey where we've seen our kids grow. We've had fellowship as moms. Our families have grown together. We do holidays together, and it's just an amazing journey, and it's bittersweet and sad to see it end. So, but with that, we know that God brought us together for that season, and we just want to share with you how we made that season work. Does anybody want to share why they wanted to join co-op in the beginning?
Sure. So I wanted a co-op because I decided to homeschool my daughter preschool, and I needed friends for her. So I opened up my house, invited a few moms, and we got together, and it was perfect because I was able to teach alongside with other moms, and my daughter had friends to play with.
I would go next. So I think I wanted to join co-op. I remember moving into town, and my husband mentioned to me of a family that homeschooled. And my first thing was like, point me in the right direction. What do I do? Where do I go? Having been homeschooling prior, I found great value in community. And so that's exactly what I was looking for, community, somebody to do life with and homeschool the kids and help with the burden, I would say, in so many aspects. Even though I homeschool and it requires more days at home, but those co-op days definitely help lighten the burden of a homeschool year.
I think we were just so blessed to be able to find each other. I think that was answered prayer for many of us to be able to have our paths cross. And so I think when you're starting a co-op, ask God, pray to God to have him bring the right families to you, because I think the mesh of personalities and the kids is really important. Obviously, you want to have kids around the same age, and then you want to have friends that you can homeschool with. So finding a mom that you get along with, that you can work together well with, that there's like a certain level of understanding of how to raise your kids, having the same values is very helpful, so that you can really infuse those values and teach them together at homeschool. So I guess the next part was determining like the objective and style of your homeschool. Anybody want to talk about how we did ours?
I will piggyback off of what you said when you mentioned being in unison with your goals and objective. That's when you then could decide your style. I would say it goes from anywhere from faith background to temperaments, and because your style of learning and the child's style of learning and your style of teaching, and then there's just so many things, but finding a common ground, right? Finding a common denominator, then from there deciding how you want to then structure your co-op.
In terms of finding objectives, I feel like because we, again, co-op is consists of different families and also, I guess, different talents too. So at the beginning, I always thought, what is something that my kids enjoy? And then and I go from there and to find the objectives. And of course, sometimes I'll make sure I have two. One is the social objectives, how they play with the others, their courtesy, and the other one is academic performance.
I would say with the different styles of co-ops and different objectives, I remember starting off, we did subjects together. So we did math, English, science, plus electives like PE, art, Bible,
Right.
And seasonally we did acting and everything, you can name it. We just felt like doing it, we're going to do it. But then we shifted to doing just electives, which were like CC exploration. We did Chinese, we did art, PE, and we just stuck to that. I would say, and then now I'm actually looking for, this is my dream co-op right now. My dream co-op would be we committing to one curriculum and having kids the same age as my kids. So that way I would just teach the 5th grader. Another mom would just teach the 2nd grader, and that's it. So that way I don't have to teach different ages. I would just commit to just that age for 3 days out of the week. Prior to that, I mean, going back to when we first started, we each taught different ages at different grades for different subjects, which worked well. It was almost like we had our own school, right? We had our principal, Yvonne, we have our secretary, we have the idea maker. I had all the ideas, and then Wei is like, all right, let's get it done, time, you know? Everybody kind of fell into their roles, but when it comes to selecting the different style of co-op, I think those styles can change depending on the school year. I know eventually we did go to electives because our kids kind of varied in the different, well, for one, committing to one curriculum, every parent kind of had their approach to education, which we all respected, but then also kids' levels kind of fluctuated, and it was kind of hard to maintain one classroom for each grade. That's the beauty of homeschooling. We kind of just go at the child's pace, and sometimes they're behind, sometimes they're ahead, sometimes they're right on track, but that does become to be a challenge in co-op.
So also in terms of objectives, you know, you can have a fun co-op, you know, that just gets together for field trips. You could have a co-op for academic reasons or social reasons. Either way, you know, it's important to determine what type of co-op you want. So for us, we had, you know, more of an academic based co-op where we met weekly, and then each mom taught a particular subject. We've taught anywhere from Bible, Chinese, drama, art, social studies, geography, role play, science, book club. I think we've kind of done the whole gamut. So the main thing is decide, once you find your village, your group, come together and figure out, you know, what type of co-op you want to have and how often you want to meet. I think the most important thing also is making sure everyone's committed. So being clear about what the commitment levels are in the beginning, and the time commitment is important because, you know, if someone doesn't show up or someone doesn't come prepared, it kind of just like puts a damper on everything else. So of course, have grace for each other, you know, because not everyone's going to make it all the time, and most importantly, you do want a family, you know, that is ready to, you know, put into this co-op and invest in the time and the preparation to be able to teach everyone. I know there are other co-ops where, you know, they might have one teacher teach everybody. For us, us 4 moms, we all took turns and we kind of distributed the work evenly. So usually we would either have each mom teach 1 class or 2. And if, you know, it was uneven for 1 quarter, we would even it out the next quarter, basically. Yeah, so there's a lot of styles out there, but for us, we kind of made it like a mini school. So we would open up with prayer, Bible, and then we would go into our subjects with, like, you know, 5-minute breaks here and there. And then we would have playtime or snack in there as well. All right. When we got together, we would share our goals for our children and figure out how we could work together to make those goals happen. So some years, you know, in the beginning years, it was more academic, and then later on, it was more social, emotional type of goals. But when it was academic and we were teaching, you know, language arts, writing, math, we did split it up by skill level. And sometimes we would have like 2 math classes going on at the same time, or 2 language arts classes going on at the same time. And with having, you know, multiple moms there, you guys can do lessons in parallel. And so you kind of have that flexibility to make it, you know, divided by level. And then for the electives, you know, we would teach it all by group. So, you know, for the social studies, sciences, art, we did it all together. but whatever, you just do what makes sense for your group. The main thing is just everybody sharing the same goals and accepting each other's goals and working together on those goals. And then really it just kind of happens organically. You do want to establish, your expectations and your hopes in the beginning, so everyone's kind of on the same page, and make sure everyone's committed. And from there, you can really go, you can go far. So I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think was helpful in getting our co-op started off on the right foot?
We all shared in a common desire to do good for our children. We all like really care for our kids. Go ahead, what are you going to say?
I was going to say, having a good leadership person like Yvonne, and then you have everything laid out there. It's all good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we were all ready to pour into our child. We're at that season in life where our children, we were ready to homeschool them and just pour into them. So I think having that in common helped us to be committed.
We go through seasons, and sometimes we're just in survival mode season. And if you're in survival mode season, that might not be the best time to start a co-op. But if you feel like you're getting the hang of homeschooling and you kind of got the schedule down packed in your household, then I think that's when you can consider, going outside of the house and working with others to homeschool. And then in terms of what Wei said, thanks, Wei. I think just for me, all I tried to do was just make sure that, like on paper, we were all in agreement with our goals, and then kind of laying out the schedule, making sure things were divided evenly, that, we always tried to communicate openly with one another, and be diplomatic about things, trying to ask everyone's opinion and making sure we're all in agreement on how we would move forward. So that's all I feel like I really focused on.
I think that, sorry, didn't mean to.
No.
I think that really helps. Thank you so much, Iman. Like just having it on paper so that that everyone's on the same page. We can make changes if we need to. But I think that is very important so that there's no miscommunications. Like, when you guys have meetings, it's just on paper to follow. So, or you can edit as needed.
Thanks.
Yeah, I would say two things off the top of my head. Our talents. We were very giving and sharing of our talents.
Oh.
And so like Yvonne is great with organization, and Wei is very great with time management and Chinese. Charlene is really good with literature and English. And and everybody definitely was very sharing of their talents, and us maximizing on these talents helped co-op be like the dream team, not only with our talents but also with our temperaments. With myself being a dreamer, I can imagine having other three ladies being on cloud nine like I am every day, like we would just be floating like, but thank God that we each share in our different temperaments. Like, let's go. Wei is like, let's go, let's get it done. If we were all like that, we would probably all be like running a marathon all day. I think we all balance each other out, not only with the different temperaments, but the different talents that we brought to the table that made it a dream team. So I would say my advice to putting together a co-op with that would be finding people that is a yin to your yang, as I don't know if that's a better word, and also maximizing on the talents that each parent have, and even the dads, some dad can maybe pick up on PE sometime, who knows, or however you could even incorporate the kids. That's when the kids eventually, we were able to maximize on the kids' talents, and they eventually became the teachers, and that is the beauty of homeschooling. We are limited with the resources financially sometimes, and also with just time resource. Like we don't have that much time to commit to other things. And so we literally are very resourceful with each other. And I think that in itself definitely made it, like, I mean, Adele knows gymnastics. The kids learn Chinese, like all these things is from all internally, you know, it's all, I didn't have to pay for these expensive lessons, thankfully, you know,
Right,
so
right.
I'm very grateful for you all, seriously.
Thank you. It really was a blessing, and I really attribute like God's sovereign plan in bringing us all together. Like, it's hard to match personalities and be like, hey, you're an organizer, you're a cheerleader, you're an inspirer, you're, you know, let's get together. Like, that's hard to kind of orchestrate on your own. And if you can, awesome. But a lot of times we don't know people like that, you know, or like we can't identify somebody's gifts and talents just based on kind of being an acquaintance. So like, I feel like with starting a co-op, it's so important to pray about who God wants you to bring into your life, like that, and who you should start co-op together with. Because yeah, I feel like this was a match made in heaven, literally.
But no, one more thing is grace. Thank God for grace. Okay.
Mhm.
You guys have been very graceful with one another. We have like been very forgiving in our shortcomings, you know. And so although we have great expectancies, we'll put out a schedule for the beginning of the school year and our goals. But throughout the year, sometimes we may not meet the goals. And we're very ambitious with our goals, and we really try to keep up with it. But sometimes, of course, you have a sick child, or sometimes you have, you know, a parent that didn't really prepare, you know, or one that's kind of running late, you know. Thank you, God, for grace, you know, and we're like, all right, let's get it done. It's all right. Let's go like this. We don't dwell on, well, this is not good. This is not good. This is not good. This is not working out. We literally were like, problem, solution, let's goal oriented. We were just, let's get it done. And with that, we cut out a lot of the BS that comes with women. You know, sometimes people are afraid of having women friendships or just being cooperatives because of, you get lost in the extra. There's always extra in life. Sometimes you got to put that to the side and just focus on, we do have the same, we do share these goals, right? Let's just focus on the goal and then rearrange and make it happen along the way.
Like, never did I once hear anyone like complain or criticize another person in our co-op. You know, we were always, you know, focused on the solution, understanding each other's shortcomings, and figuring out how we could help each other. So that was just a lovely, lovely culture that we had. So I thank God for that.
Yeah, I mean, we were very honest with one another. It's not like we were like, oh, this is all wonderful. Sometimes things wouldn't work. We're like, hey, what could we do? Because the kids are misbehaving today. What was going on? Like, what was in their water? Like, whatever it is, you know, but we were able to just overlook those little things and just find a solution. What do you think could work, you know? We could kind of go off from there. Disciplinary in co-op, you know, it depends what kind of co-op you have, right? Because we're doing a co-op like we were doing, which we started like twice a week, at one point maybe even 3 times a week. We are parenting each other's kids, you know, we are a great influence on each other. Let's talk about how do you go about with disciplining your child and other people's children, or whatever agreement that you come up with as the norm, or the cultural norm within the.
I think it's really important to all be on the same page as parents first, you know, be like, it's okay to scold my child, or it's not okay to scold my child. Let me handle it. You know, just everyone being clear of what they want. I think in our co-op, what worked well was that we were open to the village concept, you know, like, this is auntie, this is your auntie, and this is your uncle, and you listen and you respect them, and they can correct you because they love you as, you know, a parent or someone in their village. And so we were very open to each other correcting, you know, our own kids. And I appreciated that because I didn't always see everything that my kids did or know everything that they did. And I loved how we were able to work out problems. Like, we were able to, if the kids had fights, we brought them all together, and then, you know, we all talked openly about it, and we're able to kind of just bring light to the situation and know that, hey, this person did this, all right, so, you know, is this something that we should be doing, what should we be doing instead? You know, having that big discussion as a village was very helpful.
I think it's also we trust each other in your personal approach. Like I trust how you do it with your kids, so I trust that you would care for my kid the same. I think it's also like we are in agreement, and I trust that you would do what you think found was best at that time.
Right.
And then you take it from here. You know, I'm not going to take it all the way. I'm like, all right, here you go. I'm bringing you to your mother right now, you know?
Yes. And I feel like we've always done it in a loving way. Like, you know, we weren't harsh with our kids. It was always in a loving way. And ultimately, we brought it to their attention and maybe gave them like a timeout or just or took away something or gave them a consequence. But it wasn't, it was pretty much up to the parent to really take care of it.
Right.
So we just brought it to the attention, and then the parent, we just had to do what was needed to do in that situation to stop the behavior or to prevent it from escalating. And then we let the parent decide, you know, what to do.
I think also what we did, I think was good, was we did role playing with behavior. So we made it part of a lesson. We went back, we're like, okay, we're putting that in Bible. We need to, you know, attack that with some prayer kind of thing. And sometimes the parents would role play what we see the kids, the behavior we see the kids demonstrating, and that gave them perspective. And yeah, so everything is a teachable moment, that's for sure.
Yes, yes, I love that. I love that. We would observe the kids and whatever they needed help with, or even if we noticed in our kids, like, you know, Bree's having a hard time with this, maybe we can focus on addressing this type of behavior. And so we would include it into the lesson somehow. I think that was perfect. Yeah. Just a great way to reinforce the right things to do.
Yeah, it's almost better than disciplining, honestly. Because I mean, yes, discipline is good, but then when we made it like more of a teachable lesson and everybody is contributing to the solution, I felt like, okay, now we can move on versus you're in trouble, you're in timeout. You know, it was like collaborative. The word cooperative, co-op, you know, everybody is contributing, you know, exactly, cooperating. Yeah.
Amen. And it was cool to do those lessons because then, you know, the kids were able to see it from another perspective and to be open to the lesson instead of when you're being disciplined, you kind of shut down and you know, some kids just shut down and they're not open to receiving or learning in that situation. But being able to incorporate into Bible and do the role play and see our moms being silly, you know, it was funny and engaging for them, I think, for sure. How did we make scheduling work out? What were some lessons learned or tips that helped us with scheduling out, you know, the co-op day, basically?
Well, I think what's really important is to have your initial meeting to talk about your goals and then talk about the classes that you want your kids to take and the classes that you want to teach, and then decide how long of a day you want it to be, or maybe how long those lessons you want each subject to be. And then from there, you'll be able to determine a schedule.
Yeah. I know we in general, our lessons were about like 20 minutes. Sometimes they went over to like 45 minutes, but you know, you kind of gauge on how well the kids can focus and pay attention. But yeah, for the most part, you know, that also required grace because we had to be okay with like, you know, things running late. But all in all, you know, it's for a good cause and you know, the mom is trying their hardest to teach and is really pouring all their energy. And so yeah, having grace in this area is really important because, you know, we usually always started late. So it's helpful to put in some cushion time in the beginning to get settled and for people who are running late to just get there. And then yeah, we love starting with Bible because I think it just sets the tone for the day. And then being able to put God first. And then from there on, we would either jump straight into the next lesson or give kids like 5-minute stretch break we found that if we gave them too long of a break in between every class, they would just kind of like not focus, and it'd be hard to reel them back in. That's just our lesson, what we've figured. And then offering them like, you know, a snack break in between, or even sometimes we would have them eat snack during a class that they could, was helpful. But yeah, all in all, we tried, later on, we tried keeping a timer. Wei was our timer person. It told us, all right, 5 minutes. And that was helpful to getting us like, all right, wrap it up. We gotta get moving to the next thing. Yeah. Anything else?
I think that was good. I would say with the schedule, one thing that the kids really appreciated was time for socializing.
Yes.
Sometimes they just wanted to catch up with their day. Because we homeschool, we have so many different pockets of groups that we participate in. So the kids are not seeing each other every day. So they always look forward to time to chat, you know, and I think that was good too, because that's a learning time too, you know, just being able to learn to interact with one another, conversate, tell stories, tell jokes, have little fits and makeup. And yeah, that was all part of the lesson, right? Without them even knowing, they were in class, even during those socializing times. So definitely put some time for free play and time for socializing.
And that was when the older kids started like planning their own classes. That's when they were starting to get excited and being like, hey, we can teach our own lesson. And from there birthed on, you know, the older kids teaching drama, cooking, gymnastics. That was really cool. I'm so glad they got a chance to practice leadership and teaching that way.
Half of the time they would be in the back planning something. We had no idea what they were planning. It could have been a surprise birthday party. Like, oh, it is so-and-so's birthday, and they'll have like decorations ready, confetti ready. It's really nice to see what they come up with when they're left to themselves in a safe environment.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Let's see. Any special like traditions that stood out to you that we did, or any special holidays or events, activities stand out to you guys that you want to share about?
Oh, we had so much fun celebrating holidays and birthdays. So I really enjoyed birthdays. We would all get together and do birthday blessings. So whoever birthday it was, everyone had to say something nice about that person, and we would just shower them with love. And that would be in our co-op. So whether it be a child or a mom. And what I really loved is just us moms would go out and celebrate each other's birthdays. So we always made it a point to celebrate each other's birthdays. We went parasailing. We did all kinds of things, and it would just be up to the mom on what activity that mom wanted to do. Sometimes we surprised each other too. So that was just a lot of fun, and just, you know, something to look forward to, knowing that you'll have that time set aside for mommy, like me, a mommy break.
Yeah.
I did enjoy birthday blessings. I think sometimes as moms, we could be very hard on each other, and just as people in general. But it's nice to have a day when everybody tell you how beautiful you are and how kind you are and how awesome you are. And I'm like, yes, keep going, don't stop, keep going. I needed that reminder. Every year, once a year, I'll take the reminder. Thank you very much. So I think even the kids, even though sometimes the kids are not very good at taking a compliment, right? But they looked forward to it. They loved being able to hear good things about themselves. So I really enjoyed. I think that's my favorite.
That's true. I feel we really have a perfect schedule, and then I feel like we always end with a good note. We always have something we celebrate big at the end. So we let the kids know that, okay, we wrap up. This is your accomplishment. We have the talent show. We have the science, right? Fair.
Science fair. Yeah.
Yes. And then that really like stood out to me. Even as moms, I feel like they're just like very like memorable, and the kid just having a good memory throughout, you know, for that year.
Yeah, I loved our end of year activities. So yeah, in the past we've done like talent shows. We've done dances together, hula dances together. The kids have sang
Marketplace.
songs. And yeah, we've done like craft fair, marketplace night, where they sold, marketed, and sold their craft to the entire co-op. So that was really awesome. That was a good one. We had career day. We've had Valentine's Day parties where, the moms and dads would shower each other with love. The dads would like read poems to the moms, and they would dance together or play games together. And the whole purpose of that was really to show the kids that this is what a good marriage looks like. This is what mommies and daddies should be, how they should love one another. A lot of kids kind of just see parents going in and out, ships passing through the night, like barely talking to each other. So to us, it was important to kind of show them this is romance, like marriage is beautiful, and this is how it all started. Mommy and daddy first loving each other, and that's how you came about. And then we had our Christmas.
Love the Valentine's Day though.
Yeah, it was fun. We did trivia games, right? We did Minute to Win It for those Valentine's Day parties. And we also
when, for the Valentine's Day, remember the boys did the girls' hair or something?
Oh yeah.
Like that? Like we've done so many random things. So all the brothers did the sister's hair, and then they had whoever did the sister's hair the best. It's just like like that. I think
that was funny. That was a good one. And then our holiday parties. Anybody want to talk about Christmas?
Well, Christmas, we take the entire month of December off because it's such a crazy time of year. So that has been our schedule every year. We've taken December off so that we can just focus on whatever needs to get done. But we would always get together for fun activities. We did like the trolley ride, going to see the lights, ice skating, just fun activities in December.
Yeah.
And our Christmas party. Who wants to talk about our Christmas party? Our Christmas parties are awesome.
Well, leading up to the Christmas parties, we would do a lot of festive things during the holidays. Now, not everybody celebrate the holidays the same way. For us, my family, we don't really celebrate Christmas like the traditional family would. Growing up, we didn't celebrate Christmas, but as a co-op, we would do something like the 12 Days of Christmas or Avant calendar, where we would intentionally open up an envelope of some sort and share God, family, love with our families and with co-op with co-op. So sometimes our days would be in together and sometimes we'll just be spent as a family. But I look forward to like, we went ice skating one time, or we went caroling. Oh my goodness, wait, I was looking at your video. We have that video of us caroling and Maka Kilo, and it's on Way's page. Coco Mom, insert at Coco Mom, I think, right? Check it out. But I really just came across that like last week or something. I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't even realize there's videos of the kids caroling in the neighborhood. You don't really get to see those things anymore. So those we had simple days like coloring pages and other days with hot chocolate and a movie. And then, yeah, the list goes on. Be creative. But I enjoyed those days leading up to the holiday. I mean, Christmas in itself. And sometimes Christmas was celebrated as a co-op after Christmas was done. So after all the craziness. So sometimes it would be after the 25th. So it's not necessarily Christmas, but we would then share it with like, what is it? White elephant, or what do you call it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it white elephant?
White elephant.
Well, we were teaching the kids to that it's okay, amongst our co-op to pass on secondhand gifts. So we didn't want kids to always feel like they had to get something new. So we had the kids wrap up something. They pick out a name out of a hat, and then they would have to prepare a gift that they already had at home, an old toy or something, and then give it to the other person. So it was great exercise in receiving the gift well, but also the art of giving when you don't, necessarily have money. Yeah, that was a good one.
I enjoyed.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about our Christmas party. What did we do at our Christmas party that made it so awesome?
Games.
Yes.
Minute-to-minute games. Yeah.
You guys, nativity. We did that every year.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Wait. Remember we did the mom nativity play? Well, it was really nativity, but it was like a Christmas skit.
Yes, I saw a picture of that
Christmas
the other day.
Find these archives. They're somewhere in there.
Yes, yes. We always did a skit. And it's always so much fun when the moms do it along with the kids. We always try to do it with the kids. Like even for our end of the year celebration, we put on a dance together just as moms. And then we also learned a hula with the kids. So I think it's cool to show the kids that, hey, we're cool too, you know, we can dance and we're still young and hip.
I think it's finding a good balance, because I remember Izzy going to camp, and one of the things I really enjoyed about camp, well, I enjoyed for him about camp, was that the counselors were very involved in the kids' conversation and play, right? So oftentimes you'll just see the teachers here, the kids here, go over there, we'll be right here. But no, the kids were literally sitting amongst the counselors, right? And so the kids really felt a sense of connection with their counselor. And I think having a good balance of we interacting with the kids, and then when it's mommy time, all right, kids outside, mommy's inside, you know, like we're having a drink, you know, let's enjoy our boba tea or whatever it might be.
Cider.
Right. But the kids really do enjoy us going in there and participating with them and seeing their mom in the midst.
Yeah. We also included the dads for the whole Christmas party. That was a family thing. So, you know, the dads would do Just Dance at the end as well with the kids. And I don't know, it's just a good family bonding time. You know, the kids put on a play. We play the right left game, and then we do the white elephant, and then we have dinner together, and then we just, play games and dance at the end. It's very nice. Yeah.
Good time.
All right. Okay. How about this? Any overall success tips that you want to share that we haven't talked about yet? On how to have a successful co-op, how to start one, how to maintain one, anything that we haven't touched upon yet?
Going back to the talents and temperaments, well, hone in on that. You know, it's great to have somebody who's the idea maker. It's great to have somebody, Charlene is a positivity, see the light, you know, it's all good, you know. You know, the timekeeper, the principal, it's good to have those balances, but maximize on the talents, because right when you have that, you have a team, right? So the moment you're able to identify what you're good at, okay, that's what you're gonna do. I'm gonna do this, you do that, and you own it, you know? And I think that was a big key in our success, being able to be resourceful in that sense.
Right. Yeah, and I would say maybe start with a few play dates with friends that you think, you know, might be a good fit, and then start small. Maybe you and one other mom, you know, can just start teaching lessons to your kids and then see how it goes. And if it goes well, then add on another mom if you can handle, and you know, another kid. Just do it organically, start small, and have fun with it. And you know, really, all in all, it's about building relationship, about building friendship. And if you can have a great friendship with the other moms, then, you know, you guys will be able to work well together. And usually, you know, you share common values with your friends. So I think that's a good way to start. And just being prayerful through it all, that God puts the right people in your lives for co-op. Anything else? All right, hold on. All right, why don't we take a minute and talk about how we overcame challenges or struggles within co-op or starting the co-op.
Okay, I'm gonna take the mic with this one. Okay, challenges. Okay, thank you, God, for grace, you know, because it takes a lot of grace to start a co-op and to maintain a co-op. I would say in my mind, I have all these expectations, right? I have these dreams. I want things this way, that way, that way. And my schedule is this, my kids are this, and we have to do that, right? But then we have 3 other moms, 3 other families, 3 other entities that have their own schedules, and then coming to some sort of a compromise. Oftentimes, I don't want to let go of what I have committed to, right? But for the betterment of the whole and knowing that, wait, we need to make this work, I will rearrange so then this could work. If you're just stuck on my way, this co-op is not going to work. I'll just tell you that way. It takes somebody to being lax. It takes one person to be a little bit more strict. It can't have all headstrong moms, I would say, right? And so moving forward, although we're not in co-op this following year, I mean, well, we'll be in co-op, but in different aspects because our seasons have shifted. But I would say that's one of my things that I'm looking for in starting a new co-op, and letting go of some of my high expectations, right? And coming to some sort of compromise, and then being honest with myself. Do I want to compromise? I don't know. I'm going to pray to Jesus about that. I don't know yet. But I know with the compromise, it comes with, ultimately, the compromise should help lighten the burden. That's the number one thing. It should not add on to your burden. That's the number one thing. If I could leave you with one thing. So in starting a co-op or joining a co-op, look at it in that, step out of it and look in, is this going to enrich and better my workload? Because homeschooling is a lot already. Is it going to help lighten the weight, or is it going to add on to it? Because it does come with, even though it's help in teaching your kids, but it comes with also a lot of responsibility. And so that's where I'm trying to figure out this year, finding a good balance of what I want and then what I'm willing to let go of.
That's really good. I think it's also, to add on to that, it's, when you're first starting out, just do what you're already doing and offer it to the table. If you're already teaching them Chinese, for instance, at home, then, offer it to the co-op, because it's something easy for you. It's something that you already do, but you're just teaching it to a greater audience or a larger audience. So start with something you're comfortable with. Don't just all of a sudden say, I can try and teach Latin and then have that be an extra burden for you to learn Latin and do it. So yeah, start easy and start small, and really be honest with yourself with how much work you think you can put into committing to working. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yes.
How about you guys? What other challenge?
Pardon?
I want to hear what other things that you found to be a challenge in being in co-op.
I think it is always important, like how you guys were saying, to not add to your plate. Like co-op is meant to take away some of the burden. So you have to think about things that you want to do with your child regardless. Like if you were at home and you wanted to an art lesson, that's something that you can do at co-op with other kids. You're trying to take what you already plan in your day or what you already plan to do with your kids and just doing it with a group instead. So that way you're not adding to your plate. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Okay, and then I can talk about starting a co-op too, because I started a co-op. Okay, so starting a co-op, actually, I just started a new co-op. So this is how I did it. Because my youngest daughter is 3, and I wanted friends for her. Our older co-op, no one really had a child that was the same age as my youngest daughter. So I wanted her to have friends. So then I started thinking, okay, who else has a 3-year-old? And then I thought of 3 other families that have 3-year-olds. And then some of those families have kindergartners, have first graders. And it's always nice to do co-op with another person that's the same grade as you or close in age with you. So then I started thinking of, okay, who could pair up with the first grader? Who could pair up with the second grader? And just matching up the kids helped me to bring a group together. And it looks like we have a co-op. And we're all in the season where we're ready to pour into our children. And we're going to come together and commit to a schedule weekly. And I'm excited. because now my youngest daughter will grow up with some friends.
Nice. How many times a week are you all meeting?
We're doing once a week.
Nice.
Once a week.
And are you doing
Nice.
academic or
She has
is it
two.
elective?
She has two co-ops. She's a how do you call that? Overachiever. That's like
Oh, that is challenging. But
Oh.
it's all
You joined me with having a third baby.
exactly. I was thinking the same thing. You should have told us you were looking for friends for Kara. We would have gotten to it.
Well,
Yvonne,
I tried to
get with
convince
it.
some of you. I tried to convince some of you to have a baby with me.
Kara needs a play date. We need to extend the co-op. Come on now. Hello.
Exactly. No one jumped on that boat with me.
Aw.
Oh man.
So
Well,
yeah,
I
so
also wanted to, oh, sorry.
what did you say? What were you asking, Lucia? Were you asking something?
No, I was just saying, was it academic or is it electives?
Oh. So I think it's both. It's both. It's we have, because we have preschoolers, and preschoolers it's pretty easy to still be a bit academic because they're learning the numbers, they're learning their phonics, they're learning just the basics. And so we're doing an academic block and then we have an elective block. So
Right.
we're doing both. And then the kids pair up nicely with each other. We have 2 kindergarteners, 2 first graders, 3 third graders, and my eldest is a 5th grader, but she can just join in with the 3rd graders because that won't be too academic. That'll be more fun. I think they're going to be doing drawing and science. So that's how we're doing it.
Nice.
Yvonne, before you start,
I just want to take a moment and talk about location. So finding a location is super important to hosting your co-op. And I just wanted to spend a little time to talk about how Shar has so graciously opened her home to us these 5 years so that we could have co-op at her house on a weekly basis. We were super blessed to have Shar be able to open her house to us, and like we have left it a mess many a times, so we owe her big. But yeah, I just wanted to open the floor as to talk about that a little bit.
Location.
Yes, I mean, I have the space for it. And I wanted to do homeschooling alongside moms, so I was willing to open up my home. We did it outside, we did it inside. You just have to set rules. You just have to set rules for the kids when you're starting. And you guys did not leave a mess. Like, in fact, you guys helped me. I feel like you guys really helped me clean up afterwards, or like whenever I needed help, you guys came in and helped. They even renovated my downstairs. So they like totally spoiled me with that. That was just so amazing. So I gladly open up my house to you guys.
I still owe you a table because we burned your table the other time. I noted.
Actually, it's still functional. Brian was, I told Brian to get rid of it.
It's an eyesore. It's an eyesore. But I mean, it comes with that. What was that?
I just put a cover over it, a table cover. It's still functional.
I got you though. I got you. It just comes with the natural wear and tear of a house, right? The more footprint you have, you got kids running around, you know, doing all kind of things, toys break, you know, tables burn, you know. Thank you for being so gracious and sharing your space, really. And I know sometimes you'll be like, oh my goodness, don't broom or put that down. That's not your mess, it's my mess. And I'm like, no, like that's the least I could do, really. We definitely enjoyed our time. I always told the kids, you see, we don't need toys. We're just gonna go to Auntie Charlene's house. We're good. We're good.
I really enjoyed having you guys over and doing co-op. So I looked forward to it. And you guys are very respectful. You guys really helped me. Was mindful, you know, you didn't like just come in and leave. Like you guys always told the kids like, okay, clean up, right? Pick up after yourself. Like, yes, Lucia would help me sweep and just wipe down things. Just, you guys are very considerate and respectful. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it
I
was
think-
always so much fun. So much fun. It's so worth it to open up my house. And I'm a bit messy. So like having you guys come over and help me really helps me to establish good habits. Well, I'm still trying.
I would say it was very helpful in the beginning when we were more academic based, having a designated classroom. So for Charlene's home, she had a classroom where we would meet on the most part. And the great benefit of that was that we would not have to travel with all the materials and lessons. We would leave it in-house in the classroom. And so when we would meet the following day or the following week, all of our things that were left unfinished, either it be artwork or the kids supply, was all in one central place. That was very helpful.
Thank you,
And then
Char.
it's like you have the yard. It's just a great balance. You have the yard, we have classrooms in plural. So and when putting together a co-op, consider location. I would say it's nice to be able to meet in one place, but that comes at a sacrifice. So having other moms be respectful and contributing in other factors helps with that one person taking on that burden. Because I always say I need some visitors over, because that definitely motivates me to clean up a little bit. So while it motivates me, it is a little stressful to try to keep up with having guests over that frequent, at least for me. So it is helpful to have other people help contribute to that burden, like lighten up that burden by helping clean up after himself. Because I have people come over, look, let me just be honest. I have people come over with their kids and they have no rules of engagement when it comes to playing with other people's toys, okay? And they empty out every basket and let everything everywhere, and then they run out. And I'm like, wait, who's gonna clean this mess? So then my kids are left to clean it up, sure. But even at that, I'm like, oh my goodness, like we cannot have them over again. We're gonna play outside. They're not coming in. Or let's cover up these toys so they don't touch these. Like, let's just have off-limit toys. Because look, like sometimes people just come in, rampage, and then they leave. And I'm like, oh my gosh, now I have to clean all of this up.
Right. So setting boundaries is good, right? Telling them what is off limits, and then having the moms all be on the same page about how to clean up, and that we all, contribute to help leave it better than when, you came. And I think also for a few years we did supply fee. So, we each paid like, $50 to cover for the cost of toilet paper, soap, paper towels, just things that we would use up at her house, but Char has always been so gracious and like so opening, just the best host ever. Thank you, Char, so much for these 5 years of having us over every week.
And so like when you're starting a co-op, there might not be a person that's willing to share their home with you, but that's okay. You can meet at a park, or you can take turns. I know a few times when I wasn't able to host, everyone went to Yvonne's house or Lucille's house or Way's house. So that could be an option too, rotating houses. It is nice to have a central location that's consistent, but you just do what you got to do. You do what you got to do to make it work. So parks, other homes.
Maybe at your church, you could ask if the church would host you. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, great. All right, well, that wraps up our time, and I hope you've enjoyed our videos. I hope that this was helpful. I mean, our heart is really just to encourage you fellow moms to homeschool and, just in everything prayer, and just be able to be open to what God has in store for you. Homeschool Co-op has been such a blessing for us, and we would not have traded it for the world. I think that those 5 years were so invaluable, and those are memories that we'll carry with us for the rest of our lives, and our children's memories too. So thank you.
That's for sure. I would say I am so grateful for you ladies. And even though our seasons have shifted and we are all taking different paths for one reason or another, I think when starting our co-op, definitely commit to the school year, whatever it is, because, so many things come up throughout the months and the seasons within that school year. Commit to whatever it is. But just as for us, we're at a different season where Way is putting the kids are back in public school, and Eiley will be starring in her new movie soon. I'm speaking it into existence, right? No, but you know, the seasons shift, and as they shift, I am just so grateful for the season for what it was, and that was doing life with 3 awesome women and having lifelong sister friends. And I'm so just grateful for you all. And I look forward to seeing our kids grow up, even though we may not always be in the same town. But I know definitely the time spent in co-op were times in not only invested in our children, but also our relationship with God and our relationship with one another, and being able to just have like really good memories with you all. I appreciate you all. This fly is about to die.
Okay, my phone's about.
throughout the school year.
I'm sorry, you guys. They just coming in, and I told their father to keep them away.